Hey, what was your shortest D&D campaign, and why did it end? Let us know in the comments below. 3 sessions into a campaign that was estimated to last a few months, our DM overestimated how many players they could handle. We ended up with a party of 9 people. The first 2 sessions were entirely dedicated to introducing everyone's characters, with the second session ending in 2 players openly fighting each other. The players had a grudge from a previous campaign. By the 3rd session, 3 people no longer wanted to travel with the party, but were willing to run separate sessions within the same campaign. At that point, the DM gave up and essentially said, "You all settled down in town we had traveled to looking for work." 2 weeks later, the big bad evil guy's plans come to fruition, and a wave of fiends rolls through, wiping it off the map. I don't blame them for ending the campaign so quickly, but it was a shame. They had built up a really interesting world. One campaign ended after just the 2nd session. We met up IRL and found out the DM had invited everyone they could, which resulted in 11 players trying to play at once. That's a whole other story though. In the 1st session, we introduced our characters, fought a bear, and found a spooky manor. By session 2, only 5 players returned. We explored the manor, murdered the owner, and burned it down. Then, out of nowhere, the DM dropped an apocalyptic meteor swarm on us, which summoned a horde of demons. Campaign over. There was another campaign that was technically even shorter. My Saturday group, not the one from before, had just finished Waterdeep Dragon Heist, and moved on to the Dungeon of the Mad Mage as a follow-up. We played 1 session. Then everyone suddenly had scheduling issues, so we had to cancel the game. My first ever game lasted 5 sessions before the DM got bored with the campaign and decided they wanted to play something else. It happened a few years ago. The DM had started a homebrew campaign and everything was going well for about 2 months. Then, one player left due to scheduling issues. The DM said we'd continue after the holidays and that they would find a new player. Instead, they deleted the game and the Discord server without any explanation. My brother, one of our regular DMs, had been wanting to run Waterdeep Dragon Heist for some time. He studied the module, had the maps prepared, and knew the details inside and out. When the pandemic hit, we switched from tabletop to digital games, and he decided it was finally time to run Waterdeep. We made our characters and started the game. The opening was fine. We introduced our characters in a tavern with a giant hole in the middle, and a monster attack came from the hole. It was a quick but fun encounter. But after that, things went downhill fast. With no real direction, we asked the bartender if there was anything a group of adventurers could do. He mentioned mysterious disappearances at the docks. So we went to investigate the docks. We found pretty much nothing, but a clue led us to a specific tavern nearby. A party member and I went inside to interrogate the owner. Long story short, he told us nothing. I tried to intimidate him, one of my strong points, and he just brushed it off and threatened to call the guards. No roll allowed. He was apparently just immune to intimidation. And that's where the campaign died. With no leads and no direction, we had no idea what to do next. We said we'd continue another day, but we never picked it up again. I don't know what happened there. My brother is usually a great DM, and he had been looking forward to running this module, so I have no idea why it fell apart. The details might be a little fuzzy, it was years ago, but that's how it went. I've had a number of campaigns over the years where the DM changed their mind or lost interest after running just 1 session. Sometimes I spent more time creating those characters than actually playing them, especially back in the 3.5 days when starting at higher levels. I also remember a time when a game ended before it even started. A friend quit the game he was playing due to a dispute with the DM and decided to run his own game. He invited me and a couple of others, and we finished making our characters. Then he made up with the other DM, rejoined their game, and scrapped the one he was going to run. I was invited to join their game, but the DM wouldn't allow the character I wanted to play, so I declined. Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, 1st edition. The party advanced slowly down a dark hallway, checking for traps. They turned a corner and found a curtain. The rogue moved silently, peeked behind the curtain, and vanished. After a brief argument, the paladin eased the curtain aside with the tip of his blade, but before anyone else could see, he vanished too. The party assumed it was a teleportation portal and followed one by one. It was a mirror of life trapping. It was technically unintentional, but I ran a 3-session candy-themed campaign. What? The reason it was unintentional? I was just introducing a player to Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and they were supposed to pick one job for a one-shot. Well, by the end of the game, the party decided they wanted to do all 3, and that's how the candy campaign was born. The campaign I played in ended in 6 weeks. The DM ran a group of players who were completely new to D&D. We started the game with mild amnesia, then squid-like creatures, mind flayers obviously, told us, "If you get in these pods, you'll regain your memory." The entire party jumped at the opportunity. I didn't. A few good rolls later, I escaped while everyone else turned into mind flayers. Obviously, I didn't want to force the DM into a one-on-one campaign, so he started a brand new one instead. It lasted longer, and honestly, it was pretty cool, not gonna lie. Back in AD&D 2nd Edition, there was an article in Dragon Magazine just before 3rd Edition was released. It was titled something like, 10 Ways to Play 3rd Edition Now! Wow! Did that idea ever ruin a night of gaming? We tried it. Everyone hated it. The players hated it, I hated it, and nothing worked. It was a miserable slog. We dropped the whole thing after one session and immediately started a brand new 2nd Edition game instead. It took another year or two after 3rd Edition fully launched before I could even convince my group to try it again. We TPK'd in the first major dungeon of Rise of the Rune Lords to an evil cleric. From what I've heard, that's pretty normal for the campaign. We re-rolled, re-entered, and died again. Campaign over. Another time, I started a nice evil cultist-themed campaign that I bought from a smaller German publisher. 2 sessions in, one player said, "This all feels familiar." It turns out, the authors forgot to mention that they based parts of it on a fantasy novel. I homebrewed the rest, but the official campaign was over quick. The cultists? They couldn't control the entity they summoned. So, naturally, it ate them all. AD&D 2nd Edition. Our DM was extremely by the book. We created our characters and he opened up the module he had bought. He read aloud, "You walk over a hilltop and see a lake with a peninsula. On the peninsula, you spot what appears to be a lich performing a ritual." Then he rolled a few dice, looked at them, looked at us, then closed the module and said, "The lake explodes! Woo!" He pulled out a different module, and that's what we played instead. A homebrew campaign set in a military setting with strong anti-magic laws. One of the PCs wanted to play a wizard, so he and the DM worked out that he would be an enchanter since magic items were highly valued, despite the laws against casters. We were meant to be a military unit, and someone had to be the leader. The player who wanted that role was, unfortunately, not very good at it. This, combined with the fact that we had a magic user in an anti-magic setting struggling to participate without drawing attention, led to an in-game dispute turning into an out-of-game table argument. Our leader wanted to be both the boss and everyone's best friend. He took our characters' reactions to his personally when that didn't happen. For example, his character insulted mine the first time they met due to a false rumor, but later got frustrated when my character made a joke at his expense after our magic user almost landed us in hot water with another unit. He wouldn't really give any direction, but then would tear into people for bad choices or failed actions. The magic user got frustrated because the leader was always wrong, while the leader got upset about taking the blame for the party and blamed the DM for not making it clear what the magic user should do. The DM, for his part, was great and apologized, though he really didn't need to. He was doing his best to make everyone happy, and nobody had actually told him they needed more info or clarification. This was about 4 sessions in, and there wasn't an official decision to stop playing, but shortly after the table argument, and before what would have been our next session, the new player handbook came out. The DM, excited to try the new content, asked if we'd be up for a fresh start, so we did. It was the Underdark campaign, Out of the Abyss. My first time playing in a game. One of the players just wanted to leave the Underdark under any circumstances. Their character would literally walk away from every encounter. Unfortunately, my character was tethered to his for story reasons, so anytime he left, I had to go with him. We didn't solve a single storyline. We basically just walked past everything. It was very unsatisfying, and I learned a lot of lessons. The first campaign I tried running was Dragon of Icespire Peak. The second quest had the party up against were-rats. Problem? Were-rats are immune to non-silvered weapons and can curse parties with lycanthropy. The quest required escorting an NPC to a mine, where, if the players took too long, he got cursed and turned into a were-rat. The campaign had a pass-fail system for quests, and since the NPC turned into a were-rat, it counted as incomplete. We abandoned that campaign after that session. The first campaign I ever ran was a homebrew 3.5 edition game called The Amulet of Orion Pax. It was just the 1986 Transformers movie with some fantasy garnish. After the first session, I lost all confidence in myself, the idea, and even the concepts of friendship and creativity. I canceled the whole campaign. It was meant to run for months, and the players absolutely would have been up for it. But yeah, rest in peace. I was going to be in a campaign in 2019, but after one session it disbanded due to scheduling issues. Honestly, I probably would have left anyway. The DM was overly strict with my character, whether intentional or not, and I didn't vibe with the group's playstyle. I'm roleplay story focused, and they were combat focused. I played a Triton Ranger, but I had to deal with unfamiliar homebrew rules. Submerge in water every 24 hours or die permanently, no saves. And in-game discrimination for being a water-based race. There's more things that happened, but that was the worst of it. For a different group, all close friends, I was about to be in a campaign that just never happened. It was supposed to start in 2020, but, you know, the pandemic happened. We only did a one-shot beforehand to test out our characters. It was a silly wedding one-shot where we all played alternate versions of our characters at a wedding. Mine was the bride. Goblins stole the cake and we had to retrieve it. After that, we were trying to plan Session 0, but unfortunately, it never got scheduled. Hey everybody, Brian Von VA checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell, and let us know in the comments below. What was your shortest D&D campaign, and why did it end? If you ever want to support the channel, make sure to join our membership program. You get early access to videos, maybe a bit more, and you can help us keep the lights on too. We love you all. Please be safe, happy, and healthy, and may the gods bless your D20.